Hello and welcome back to HardReset.Info. In this video, I will show you how to fix battery drain on NUBIA Neo 3. Let's begin. So before I will start actually going with showing how to fix the battery drain itself, let's first see and talk about what is causing it. In order to see that, we can head into the settings, and then we can scroll down a little, go into battery, and now you want to scroll all the way down. Well, actually not all the way down, because as you can see we have a list of every single application on the device and exactly at which percent it eats our battery. Now, as you can see for me, it's actually Google Play Store, which is quite interesting, but I'm guessing that it's because I've just were installing some random stuff all the night. But what we are really interested in is switching from app to hardware. And now we have three different things. We have standby, screen, and RF signal. So, as you can see, this list could be totally different for you. At least for me, I have a standby at the very first time, and of course I can go into details to see exactly the operating time and power cost with both things like that. We also have the screen on duration for usage details on very different days. And we have even the since last charge and since certain hour, which is pretty cool. And finally we have the option to allocate battery power, and as you can see in here we generally have some tips on how to lower the battery usage, which should help us with the battery fix. But before we do that, I first want to tell you that depending on which of these bars is the most filled for you, you want to do a couple of things. For example, if you have screen as the most battery hungry hardware part on your device, then you want to head into this display settings, and then you want to change a couple of things. First of all, you want to make sure that your brightness levels is relatively low. Then you want to go down, you want to make sure that your screen timeout is also very low. As you can see right now, after 1 minute of inactivity, my screen will automatically lock itself. If that value would be higher, then this means that I could just randomly leave my phone on and it still would eat up battery to display me screen for like 30 minutes, which is of course a total waste. And finally, we can change into dark mode. And I know that this may seem kind of weird, but trust me, it does really help. Whenever you enable the dark mode, the majority of your pixels become black, not white. And because many of the screens nowadays are OLED screens and they need more power to display brighter pixels, well, this means that if majority of our pixels are actually black, this means that we won't have as big battery usage, which is pretty cool. So these are the things that you want to do if your display is the one causing the battery drain. However, if it's not display and instead it's standby, then it's the system and especially CPU. And there are many different things that could cause this, but I think mostly and most consistently is because of certain application and the fact that they're just working in the background. So how can we possibly fix them? Well, first of all, we can navigate once again into this app category, and now we can see every single application that wastes our battery. Now, of course, we can't really do anything about the Google Play Store or Google because, well, come on, these are essential applications to your device, you can't like uninstall them. However, we have an Asphalt here, and this is like this very popular racing game, so we can head into it by just clicking. And as you can see, we have a high power consumption notification. I would suggest leaving this on, because then if you like gaming on your device, and this is gaming phone, so you probably will game a lot, you probably want to have a notification every single time the power consumption reaches certain threshold. And finally, we have app and not customization but optimization, and as you can see we have certain things, but all of them currently are set to automatic. We can change them to something different. For example, we have not allowed, which will mean that we will disallow the auto start behavior and the app will save battery, which is very good, but this basically doesn't really allow you to auto start certain application. And finally we have the allowed, which will allow the auto start, but it will drain battery fast. If you have many different games and they have the allowed or automatic setup, then your battery drain can be a little bit higher. So I would suggest switching from allowed to automatic, or even better, going into not allowed. Then we have secondary launch, which, as you can see, is exactly the same And if you want to save battery, and if you only care about battery, you want to go into not allowed. And finally, I think something like the thing that is most important for saving and fixing your battery drain is the background running, and once again you probably want to have this set to not allowed. And now this setting is the most optimal setting for certain applications, especially for games. So if you have many games on your phone, and once again I think you have, because once again it is a gaming phone, you want to make sure that your app optimization is set to just don't work in the background, and you will see changes in your battery drain with no time. And of course, by changes I mean the battery drain will drop, and battery usage will also drop, and battery life will increase, which I think is very, very cool. And is there more to this video? Well, technically yeah, like you could go into every single thing here, or alternatively you could just go and enable the power saving mode. And as you can see, we have things that happen when you do that. So we have some background activities which are limiting. We are using the standard screen refresh rate, which is very interesting. We are restricting background apps from accessing location, and that's basically it. Seriously, you can just enable it and we are done. Technically, we could also have the ultra power saver, but this is a very strict mode, which will basically strip your phone away from many different functionalities, and you will only have few applications to actually use freely. So I wouldn't really advise that for just casual battery drain fixing. The normal power saver is completely fine on its own. And yeah, I think that's all for this video. If you found it useful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.